Ungrateful daughter throws out her black adoptive dad, without knowing his $5 million secret. The neighbors watched in stunned silence as Marcus shuffled down the driveway, a single suitcase in his weathered hands. Rain soaked his coat, but it wasn't the cold that weighed on him. It was the final words from the daughter he'd raised as his own. To her, he was nothing more than a burden now. What she didn't know was that the man she'd just cast out had been guarding a secret that could have changed her life forever. A secret worth $5 million. And now, with each step away, he was deciding who would receive it. Marcus. Johnson had never been the man people expected to see raising a white little girl in the suburbs. A black Vietnam veteran turned small business owner, he adopted Emily when she was only 6, after her parents, Marcus's closest friends, died in a car accident. For years, he poured everything into giving her the best: private schools, music, lessons, family vacations. He worked long hours, ran a struggling hardware store, and never once complained. The whispers never stopped. Parents at Emily's school asked if he was the driver or the help. Strangers stared in restaurants. Even some relatives questioned why a black man would take in a white child. But Marcus ignored them all. Emily was his daughter in every way that mattered. Now Emily was in her 30s, married to a man Marcus never quite trusted. Her visits grew less frequent, her calls shorter. And then the day came when her husband decided Marcus was taking up too much space in their home. Emily didn't fight it. She stood there, silent, as the man who had raised her was told to leave. She didn't ask where he'd go. Marcus left quietly, but the memories refused to let him go. He thought of the nights Emily had nightmares, the mornings he made her favorite pancakes, the hours spent cheering her on at recitals. He'd worked for decades to save something she could use to build her own life. But over the years, he had also been saving something else, a silent record of the way she'd begun to treat him. Her husband's family was wealthy, but cold. They saw Marcus as an embarrassment, a relic from a past Emily should move on from. At holidays, they made comments about how generous he'd been to take her in, the kind of remarks that weren't really compliments. Emily never defended him. Then came the breaking point. Marcus overheard her telling a friend she felt obligated to house him, but it wasn't her job to take care of an old man. The words cut deeper than she'd ever know. What Emily didn't realize was that Marcus had sold his business years earlier, not because it was failing, but because a quiet investor had offered him a life-changing sum for the property. That sum, smartly invested, had grown into more than $5 million. For years, he'd planned to leave it all to her, but now he wondered if she truly deserved it. Weeks later, Emily learned that Marcus had passed away quietly in a small apartment, across town. The news barely stirred her until the reading of the will. Expecting a modest inheritance, she instead heard the lawyer reveal the full truth. Marcus's estate was worth over $5 million. Gasps filled the room, but her name was nowhere in the beneficiary list. The money, every cent of it, was going to a scholarship fund for underprivileged black youth, children who, as Marcus had once told a friend in private, just need someone to believe in them. The lawyer then read a letter Marcus had written, a reflection on love, family, and the painful truth that blood isn't what makes someone family. It's how you treat them when it matters most. In the letter, he thanked her for the good years they'd shared, but said he couldn't leave his life's work to someone who had forgotten its worth. Emily left the office that day in shock, clutching a copy of the letter. For the first time, she saw the man she'd called Dad not as a burden, but as the person who had sacrificed everything for her. And she had thrown him away. The scholarship fund Marcus created changed hundreds of lives over the following years. Students from struggling neighborhoods went on to become doctors, teachers, and entrepreneurs, all carrying a piece of Marcus's legacy. In the community, His name became a symbol of quiet strength and unwavering generosity. At the dedication ceremony for the scholarship's first graduating class, speakers told stories about how Marcus had believed in them when no one else did. Emily attended in the back row, unnoticed. She wept as she realized the truth. The $5 million wasn't the real gift. It was the love, the lessons, and the chance he had given her, a chance she had squandered. And somewhere in the quiet of that hall, the weight of what she had lost finally sank in. Sometimes, the greatest inheritance we can receive isn't money. It's the chance to love and honor those who believed in us when no one else would.